Hey guys, Shay with the Owyhee. Welcome to the blog. Glad to have you here and have you back. I want to tell you a little bit about the planning process and all the steps that it takes, why we make those decisions and how it works. But if you like what you're seeing, please give us a like, subscribe, so you can follow back and see the process. We're going to do planting, we're going to do irrigation, we're going to go harvest. We're going to show you the entire process from start to finish, including some of the operations that we have in California. So this isn't just a one-time vlog or tutorial or something. This is going to be something that happens over a period of time, so you can watch this crop grow just like we do as farmers.
Is all we know. When thought bed is hardly shown. Scrape across the phone like they stole it. Know how they hold it.
As you can see, we're just starting to plant. And what are those decisions that we have to make in that process? Well, one of the first things that we have to do is we have to look at the forecast. The reason we have to look at the forecast is because we don't have irrigation water here yet. This is a drip irrigated field. So if you look here, we actually have a drip line buried in this field. This has a small emitter that allows us to drip irrigate, and that's like irrigate almost each individual plant with this drip tape. However, our water in this region doesn't get turned on until the 15th of April. So we have to look at the forecast, decide when the water is going to come, and therefore decide when to plant, and make that decision as timely as possible. Now, we're not going to get 1,100 acres planted perfectly. We're going to look and make the best educated guess that we can. Farmers are always dealing with the ramifications of Mother Nature. She can help us and she can hurt us. So we are going to just, like I said, we're going to make the best decision that we can based on the forecast. And who knows what's actually going to happen in 2 weeks with the weather. The weatherman certainly doesn't, but he'll give us an idea, and that's what we'll go off of. So the drip tape's here, but we can't use it. So let me take you over. Let me take you over here now and show you what the bed looks like before we plant. This was like, actually this row right here, this bed formation was actually 2 hills. And what we did is we came out and we pushed this all off yesterday so that it would dry out a little bit. But if I move my hand like this, you're gonna start to see how much darker and how much more moist it is right here under the surface. This is where we're gonna plant the seeds. We're gonna plant the seeds in here so that they have all the moisture that they need for now until we have the irrigation. We're gonna also hope that Mother Nature blesses us with some timely rain. And with this moisture and the combination of what we get from Mother Nature, we should be able to make it until April 15th when this irrigation water is available to us. We have to decide a whole plethora of other things. So we gotta think about what that forecast, like I said, we've gotta think about when the irrigation water is going to be available to us. And then we're going to look at the spacing. Okay, so we're planting now. When are these onions going to be harvested? If the onions are going to be harvested earlier in the year, meaning mid-July or early August, versus our other onions, which are going to stay in the field until almost the 1st of September, we have to space them out a little bit more. We have to give the seeds a little bit more room to grow. Let's see if we can find some of these in here. There's one. There's another that I just flicked out. Probably have a hard time. There's another one right there. That's what an onion seed looks like. This is an encrusted seed, which means it has a little bit of fertilizer and a little bit of clay on the outside. And why do we do that? Let me scrape some of this clay away, because the seed is actually, an onion seed is actually pitch black. So I'll see if I get there. You can see a little bit of the black color inside. This has the clay for a little bit of consistency in the shape. The seeds aren't all perfectly shaped. And when they run through the planter, we need them to be consistent so that we can get the spacing consistent through the field. You think you were dropping 160,000 to 200,000 of these seeds per acre. And if they're not consistent, the machine, the planter, can't get them spaced correctly. And again, going back to the spacing, why does the spacing matter? Okay, if we have them really close together or too close together, they're gonna compete with one another. The top's gonna come up and it's gonna put shade on the other onion. You're also going to have issues with the bulbs actually getting so big that they'll bump into each other. So you've got two round bulbs pushing into each other, and you can get misshapen onions. Those are either going to be discarded or sent to process. You'll notice here the consistency in the spacing, right? 160,000 of these seeds are planted per acre, but it's really consistent the way that it's laying out the seed. This is a precision vacuum planter. So this is a monosim planter. Most of our equipment, actually, especially the higher end or more technologically advanced equipment, come from other countries. Our packing line is mostly from other countries. This piece of equipment comes from overseas, from Europe. They tend to do a better job as far as the technological advances that they make in their production and in their equipment.
Claire, we nearly forfeit. I'm going like the quickening hills. I'm telling darkness.
With this machine, we're inserting the tape and doing the planting at the same time. It saves us a pass through the field, and again, it reduces the compaction. They're gonna drop the tape. These guys are gonna hold it so that when it starts, the tape doesn't just pull along, right? It has to have some restriction or some resistance to start that reel rolling. And once it's buried, once the tape starts and it's under the ground, then there's enough resistance there that it'll self-spool. But these guys have to hold it from the beginning to get the tractor rolling. So here's the planter box is right here. This is the hopper. It's holding the seed. All the little seeds are going to go down into the planter unit. Muchos que trabajan en el rancho o piensan en los que están trabajando en el rancho, piensan de las personas que están haciendo puro trabajo a mano, ¿no? Cosechando, limpiando los campos, etc. La verdad es que hay muchos trabajos algo técnicos que se tienen que hacer. Ellos tienen que saber cómo funciona la cinta de goteo, cómo conectarlo y cómo mantenerlo para que se rieguen bien los campos. Y los mismos que están ayudándonos a poner la cinta ahora van a estar trabajando a lo largo del verano, manteniendo toda la calidad del goteo para que tengamos una cosecha buena cuando venga septiembre y hacemos la cosecha.
We cry. Oh, when we done it, because it's right. Claire, eyes too sore for sight.
So now we're inside the cab of the tractor. You might be surprised at how many computers and screens you have inside a modern tractor. We've got a full GPS unit that drives the tractor, tells you the location you are in the field. It is basically the entire control process so that you can be consistent and accurate in everything that you do. So this tractor is going to go through the field this time, and the tractors that follow are going to know exactly where this tractor went and adjust accordingly. Every single planter box, every single one of those little units back there holding the seeds, this tells us what's coming out, the quantity of seeds that are coming out, the spacing of those seeds, the number of seeds per acre, and all of that is being fed to you in real time so that you can adjust accordingly. This planter is a vacuum planter. So that's a vacuum unit right there. and you can see where the hoses, it's doing the suction, and then you can see where the air lines come down to each one of the planter boxes. And that's exactly what it's doing. If we come over here, here's the vacuum line coming in. This plate has all these little holes in it, and what it did is it spun around all the way and inside the reservoir where the seed is. There's suction on the back side. It pulls the seed onto it, and then you can see what it does. The idea is to singulate the seed so there's only one seed per hole. Right here, we can see that the machine messed up. There's 2 seeds there. You see that? That green and blue is actually 2 separate seeds, so it didn't work perfectly, but you can see what the functionality is. All right, so we showed you the vacuum lines and what they're doing, but now what are all of these wires? What's the deal with this? Well, they're literally that. They're literally wires so that we can track what's happening in each planter box. We can see if there's skips. We can see if a planter box the plate isn't spinning. We can adjust the speed as well of the planter. So this is really giving us the ability to monitor what's going on a per planter box basis. And you'll see what we're doing. There's 2 boxes on each side. We're doing 2 different lines. There's 4 lines per bed. It's a 40-inch bed. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of onions on this bed. That configuration is adjusted all over depending on where you're at, what growing region, maybe what your irrigation type is. In this area and on our farm, everything's on a 40-inch bed with 4 lines. Some guys have gone to 5 lines, some guys have gone to 6. Some use a 36-inch bed, some use a 44-inch bed, some use an 80-inch bed. We all have our preferences and our biases in the type of planting configuration that we do.
Life ain't stolen. Oh, how they hold me. Claire, will you forfeit? I'm cold like quickening hills. I'm telling dark.
Hey guys, glad to have you along with me. This view is one of the reasons that people fall in love with farming. You have the low light, the beautiful scenery, all the dirt, you get to be outside. And that might seem kind of funny to you, but it's the truth. I've spent the last 7, 8 months working from the office, and the feeling that you get getting to come out here and be in touch with Mother Earth is significant. Like, it's profound. And that might sound kind of silly, and it probably does, but it's the truth. Like, I can't tell you, like, when the seasons start to change, how exciting it feels and how good it is to know that you're gonna be able to be out there and you're kind of like working in collaboration with and against Mother Nature as you work, as you do whatever it is that you do every day. But it's really special. I get to work with my mom, I get to work with my Uncle Craig, I get to work with my cousin Chase, I work with my grandmother, and I worked with my grandfather until a year ago, until he passed away. It's a way of life, but it's more than that. Like, the cliche is well, you gotta love, or everyone talks about how the simple life of farming. And frankly, that's not true. There's beautiful things about farming. There's beautiful things about agriculture. There's beautiful things about working hand in hand with Mother Nature. But there's also a lot of challenges and frustrations that come along with that. This is a real business and we really have to make money. It's not about just getting out here in the sun and enjoying the weather and being in touch with Mother Earth and feeling the soil in your hands. You have to make the dollars and the cents, the red ink and the black ink line up. You have to stay in business. And that means that we have to make the right decisions. We have to use the right automation. We have to use the right equipment. We have to pick the right seed varieties. We have to use the right drip tape. If you pick the wrong drip tape, we've done this in the past, and all the emitters plug, you can lose an entire crop. You can get a hailstorm and lose an entire crop. You can get a windstorm and lose an entire crop. You can have a labor situation and lose an entire crop. There's just so many variables that's what makes it fun, but it's also what makes it scary. But it's a beautiful thing to be able to to work, like I said, hand in hand with Mother Nature and create and grow something and share dinner with millions of people. Like, we're gonna grow these onions on this dirt, and it's gonna be in homes all over the United States. In fact, all over North America. How cool is that? How special is that? And I hope it's something that you can relate to on one level or another. If you've liked what you've seen, please come like and subscribe. I'd love to see you on the next one and keep teaching you about what we're doing.
Through the lights of green. On pure king, sunny rain for me. Same one for the tongues, on streets and the stone where she stashed the sand. All been living alone, when the cracks in the low part of the stone. Give us the